Hello, hello, hello. It's another day for the Kathy J Show. All right, all right. I am so excited that you're here with me today. Thank you very, very much for streaming us on the Denver 7 app and for hanging out and watching us for the half hour. I love you guys, and I love how you're connecting with us because it's just really cool. We have a lot to share with you on this show. We've done a lot of work for the show, so thank you. We got a variety of topics that we're always wanting to get real with. And I'm serious about getting real. Today we are getting real, everybody. Have you ever heard the term gaslighting? Gaslighting is something that's been around forever, but it's kind of got a new term. It's kind of got a definition now, but it has nothing to do with a car. For everybody out there saying, what's gaslighting? I haven't heard of the gaslighting. And it's not something that ends with somebody saying, pull my finger. It's not that kind of gaslighting. Of course, when I told my husband, if you heard of gaslighting, he was like, is that something like a Dutch oven where I throw you under the covers? I was like, no. Gaslighting is actually something pretty serious because it really makes you feel like you're crazy. It's when someone in your relationship dynamic tries to control the other person by twisting their sense of reality. They actually convince their victims that they're mentally unfit and a little too sensitive. You're too sensitive. You're crazy. Sounds pretty messed up, right? Well, it is, and it happens a lot. A lot of you right now, light bulbs are going off. I can see them all over the city. Light bulbs are going off. You're like, oh, that's what so-and-so does to me. That's what my husband does, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Gaslighting can happen personal relationships, it can happen with your boss at work, it can even happen with your own family and friends. The person gaslighting, they try to manipulate you into questioning your own reality, your own memory, your perceptions of it. Okay, so this is a true story. One of my closest couple friends, I've had them for a long time, they gaslight each other, and I see it. And to be the witness to it is kind of crazy because it's been going on. They've been together for a long time. So when I've seen them fight over the years, and back in the day, I used to sit there because one would say, I feel like she's making me crazy. I need you to sit here and listen. And I would listen, and sure enough, what she did, I kind of called it like she jumped from a tree limb to a tree limb. Like she was in the argument, she was always grabbing a different limb to try to hold on to help her argument, and then it ended with her completely being on a whole other topic, making the other girl feel completely stupid about whatever she started the argument in the first place, and then all of a sudden everybody threw their hands up and said, what were we arguing about in the first, and the person that gaslit, they just smile and walk away because they got out of an argument. It's about avoiding responsibility, kind of. So if you're somebody that's starting to lose who you are because you're always second guessing yourself because you might live or always have to deal with a gaslighter, today is your day, everybody. We're not going to have you walking around saying, I'm not good enough anymore, okay? You are good enough and you're not crazy. We're going to help you get rid of the gaslighter in your life or at least learn to work with them. Stop that toxic hold on you. They're awful psychological manipulation over here. My psychologist, she's over here agreeing on the other side of my monitor. Yes. Stop the manipulation. You got to get back your self-worth, everybody. You got to live your authentic self again. That's what she's all about. Leslie GUSTAFSON, you know her. She's here, our sex, psychology, and relationship expert. She's going to be joining us with her professional expertise on this, and she is smiling because we're going to be playing with a candle, and we're going to have a really cool story that she has. It's going to be the perfect example to really drive it home as to what you might be living. Let the light bulbs go off, everybody. Learn to deal with it. We'll be right back. Kathy J. Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness. It's been a journey. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Yes, I start talking before you even see me. It doesn't matter. It's my show. Thanks for spending this half hour with us. I really appreciate it. So here you go. You might have heard of the term gaslighting. It's become quite the trendy little word and catchphrase. You probably wondered, what is it? We already talked about it. It's kind of like a manipulation that happens in relationships, and we're getting to the bottom of it. Leslie GUSTAFSON, our sex, psychology, and relationships expert is here. Hello.
Hey, sweetheart. How are you?
I love you.
I love you.
Okay, so you said, this was so funny, everybody, because Leslie was like, Kathy, I'm going to need you to role play with me. And I was like, okay, when a sex therapist says this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting on our show. But no, that's not what you meant at all. We're going to role play as the
maybe.
That's for after the show. Okay, so this is going to be, yes. What does this represent? What are we doing here, Leslie?
So I am the fire.
Okay.
And you are the wick.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
if I can light it.
Okay. Light it. Okay. Ouch, ouch, Leslie, that's really hot.
Oh, I think you're being a little sensitive, don't you?
Okay. It's hot. You're burning me. Ouch, ouch. Why are you angry with me? What is happening?
I am good. I'm good.
Okay. It's hot. You're touching me. I'm burning. Do you hate me? Why are you doing this to me?
I don't think you, what are you even talking about? I think this is kind of all in your head.
The blurn, the flame you just lit. Why is this happening?
I don't know. Maybe your perspective is off. What are you even seeing?
Okay, I'm not crazy. You just lit a flame.
I didn't light a flame.
You did. There's a flame is lit. I'm burning right now.
What are you even talking about? Oh my gosh, you have lost your way.
Okay. That little example, you just made me crazy. Guess what? I'm going to take back my control and put my flame out, and then I'm going to do that. That is exactly
You're all crazy over there burning, apparently.
See? I've seen people do what you're doing.
I know. That's exactly how it goes.
And that's exactly how it feels in this feat.
Yes.
Is somebody going,
Yes.
no, you're crazy. I'm lit. I'm on fire.
Yes, that is a nutshell of how gaslighting works.
Ignore
which is
it.
Somebody provokes a disruption in another and then blames the other for their behavior. And usually underneath is some kind of feeling or emotion or insecurity, but it's never known because they won't be vulnerable with what's really going on with them.
Whoa.
So it's always you're the problem, your perspective is off, you're misinterpreting, or you didn't understand.
Okay, so is it them deflecting and projecting? I mean, because usually
Those
you
are
can
good
fight
words.
you
Those
can
are good
fight
words.
somebody that deflects in an argument or projects, and you know,
Yes.
like. But you're saying these people do all of that and then combine it into something that makes you crazy because their whole intention is to hide whatever it is that started the whole emotion.
And a lot of times they're hiding it from themselves.
Okay.
So there's not a capability, it seems, for them to take ownership. Like they don't get what they're about.
Okay.
But on the other end, the more extreme end, and really when we're talking about gaslighting, we're talking about people who are on the narcissistic spectrum.
Okay.
Which means to greater severity or lesser severity, there's narcissistic issues. On the very far right, when you've got a full narcissist who might also be a sociopath.
Good luck.
That's true manipulation because there's awareness.
Yes.
And it's exploitive on purpose. But some people simply do not have the capacity or have never learned the capacity or are unwilling to know what's going on with themselves.
Yes, that's what I
because
was
it's too vulnerable, they feel it as weak, and they're not going to own things that are personal like that, or they're not even connected to it.
Okay.
So when you're in reality and you're feeling the feelings and you come up to someone and you need to share a concern or a problem or something that's been going on between the two of you that's problematic,
Yeah.
you are all alone there.
Okay.
Because they are not going to mirror it or own it. And in fact, they're going to deflect it and put it back on you and make you feel
crazy.
You don't even know what you're talking about,
Okay.
which is projection and blaming. Now,
You-
we can all do that to
Yes,
some
we can.
degree.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
we can
that.
all do this. I mean, you can even see little kids. I mean, your daughters, right?
Yeah.
I didn't do it, she did it.
They totally do that.
And they have the whole story about how she did it. She's not owning it.
Right.
Right? And so that ability to, place blame and not take responsibility is something that we, train our children out of.
Isn't that crazy?
But
Yes.
this is at a broader scale. But that's the baseline, is an inability or an unwillingness to take responsibility for
And-
one's own experience.
And whether they were taught that or that's just how they've developed their own defensive
Yes.
skills to protect it.
Yes.
You have a really good example of a couple that you've worked with.
Yes.
Okay. Who is
And
that?
a very common couple. Their name, I'll change their names,
Okay.
Janelle and Max.
Okay.
Janelle came to me after 6 years in her marriage where she was feeling very beat down, very, very anxious and confused. Max, and these are people that you would think are really cool people.
Right.
He might seem a little arrogant to you. She might seem a little too nice.
Okay.
But she thought his controlling ways was just leadership, and she really liked that about him.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. And of course,
I knew that
he
answer.
loved how she loved him.
Yes,
She
right.
was so lovely and
Doting.
nice and kind and doting and mirrored him and thought he was fabulous.
Yeah.
And then real life, right?
Yes.
And then real marriage.
Year after
right?
year.
Where the issues come up, or she has needs, or they start having issues where she has to talk to him, and nothing. There's no way. It would incite a fight. It was his way or no way. And his skill level at always making her walk away feeling like she just didn't know what she was talking about
Yeah.
was confusing. And she would over time doubt herself, and her reality was getting really shaky. Like she doesn't even know who she is anymore, and it's scary.
That is so scary.
It is
How
scary.
did someone like that convince that guy to get into therapy?
It depends honestly, how narcissistic he is.
Okay.
Now, if he's super narcissistic, like narcissistic personality disorder, he will go maybe to fix her.
Oh, to get her back
fix
in line?
Her, yes.
Oh!
But most won't go at all. So if it's somebody who's got narcissistic wounding, which is many of us, which means we had hurts and wounds and we created some self-protective strategies.
Right.
Right. And we maybe occasionally do some of this stuff because we don't want to work on our stuff, or we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm fine the way I am.
That person has possibility.
Okay.
And it's a better prognosis because there's at least an ability to look at themselves and a willingness. And that's critical if you're going to do any kind of personal development.
Yes.
You have to decide that there is, in fact, something to work on.
Yeah, right.
And you got issues.
So you first have to break down, first tell the person you're not crazy. We got to work on this person.
Yes.
And then you have to go to that person and hope that they want to break down whatever is
Yes.
inside that makes them
Yes.
want to go, you're stupid, Leslie.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
But for Janelle at this point, she was smart to go by herself because it had gotten very dramatic.
Okay.
And very toxic. And
Strength.
even very verbally abusive over and over. And when there's that kind of repetitive gaslighting, you really start to lose your sense of self, or can.
Yeah.
Your esteem is definitely starts to plummet.
When
Because
you-
this is your person who you most love.
Yes.
And the most damage happens in intimate relationship with gaslighting than any of them.
Wow.
Although it can happen everywhere.
Because other gaslighting, you can just walk away and go, I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. They're crazy. They said they weren't going to be here that day. I don't know, like that kind of
Yes.
thing. But
or in a
with your
workplace, maybe you
relationship-
have somebody else, a coworker, and you're both going, it's not
right,
you.
right.
Right. And you don't have to have that much
Relationship, it's-
contact with them all of the time.
Right, you're
Yeah.
right, Leslie. Okay, hold that thought.
Okay, I'm holding
All right,
it.
everybody. Well, there is no thought. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Now we know, everybody, what gaslighting is. Now we're going to learn how to deal with it. Because as you can see, it's a little tricky trying to deal
tricky.
with somebody that doesn't want to deal with it themselves.
Yes.
So we will be right back to talk about
good.
that after the break.
Good.
Kathy J.
The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on.
Kathy J.
Welcome back, everybody. So we've been talking this half hour about gaslighting. It's when somebody else paints a certain reality for you, which actually makes you doubt your own reality and who you are.
Well said.
It's right. It's
Yes.
crazy. It's a form of emotional abuse. Leslie Gustafson, our sex psychologist and therapist, is here. And relationship expert is here. Sorry. So okay, let's get into
Basically, she's
gaslighting.
really old and has a lot of experience. Yeah, thanks so much.
She knows what she's talking about. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
tell everybody, getting out of the gaslighter spell.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Well, it's number one, it's awareness, right?
Yeah.
Can you see this interaction for what it is when it's happening?
Okay.
And so educating our audience right now about this is key,
Yeah,
right? Because
for
people
sure.
are sitting at home going, I think that might be happening to me,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to see it. And the way to see it would be to start trusting your own reality and experience of these events.
Okay.
When you walk away, there is a tendency to go, is that true?
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. And that's how doubt starts to begin.
Yes.
But instead, you need to go to your center in your core and go, I know what I know, what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And those who actually know who they are and have strong senses of self,
Yeah.
they fare better.
Right.
Right? And
You're
so
right.
they aren't as easily taken out, though they could be over time, because there is a diminishment that happens over time, even for healthy people. But when you know who you are and you have a sense of your identity, you can run these experiences up against it and go, that's
No.
just not who I am.
Exactly.
I'm
You
a
feel
loving,
it.
kind human being, and what I was believing and thinking and seeing was my truth.
Yes.
And so what happened once I put it out there before him or her, and it got all spun?
Right. So you recognize they spun it.
Yes,
Right.
what just happened?
Okay.
One, they didn't receive it.
Right.
They never validated it or understood it or acknowledged it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That doesn't even happen. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about how it's about me.
Yes.
It was never about me. I was bringing something to you.
So you got to get
So
the
you've
person.
got to be able to be aware of it and catch it. And then you've got to trust your reality again and believe it. And when self-doubts start to come up again, go back to your center around what you really know about who you are historically before that person.
Yes.
Do other people see you the same way as that
Yes,
person?
that's
or
so
do they
good,
not?
Leslie, right.
Are other people doing that to you? Do they see you for who you are?
Do you have a lot of people around saying you might be crazy? Because then you might have a bigger issue. But if it's
I have
one
a funny joke for that, but yeah.
But if it's one person, you're right.
Yeah.
When that moment happens, when they automatically try to gaslight,
Yes.
do you bring it up like you're doing it right now, or does that even not matter? You just need to
No,
defend
in fact,
yourself,
if you need
empower
to be able
yourself,
to,
and
yes,
move on.
you need to catch it. You need to be able to stay in awareness, and then that's where strategies happen.
Okay.
Because what tends to happen is you cannot believe that they don't get you.
Right.
So you try harder.
Yes.
Or you explain yourself in a different way.
Right.
Like maybe they'll finally get it. And you keep trying. In fact, you try all of the time in different ways, and it's still not working. And you don't get why it's not working, but it's because they gaslight and they're never gonna own it.
Okay.
So, right? So to keep trying to amp it up is like to keep running into a brick wall. It doesn't work.
You say don't think of this as a relationship problem, but it is a
No, it
relationship
absolutely is a relationship
It
problem.
is. Okay.
But when somebody wants to go, if it's really extreme and someone needs help, if you go in as a relationship, that can be dangerous, particularly if there's an abusive component where it's just like really verbally abusive and a toxic relationship. If you go in relationally, it will incite the gaslighter. And so then more harm potentially could happen to the partner.
Okay.
So if it's really extreme, it's best for the woman or the guy, it's usually a woman, but it happens to men too, to get help for themselves. So get their own clarity again. Because sometimes you need reality checks and you need someone to like go, well, that's not my experience of you. You seem really rather normal and have something to say, and your feelings are legitimate.
You know, it's funny that as you've been talking, I remember specifically a woman once looking at me, a friend that looked at me one time and literally said, "You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about right now." And I remember thinking how that made me feel. Like I was low, like I was a loser, like I was, like, what do you mean I don't know what I'm saying? I think I just said what and it's not, like, I'm no longer friends with that person. I was like, I think we're good here. But it happens with family and friends.
Yes, it
what
happens
do you do
a
with
lot
them?
with mothers and daughters. It
Does
happens
it?
with fathers and sons. Yes, because when you're bringing something to someone that they don't want to own or they don't want to believe, it happened in my own life, in my own home. I had a lovely mother. She was my best friend. God bless her. She's no longer with me. But she needed me to be happy all the time.
Right.
Now, if I was not happy and I brought like an issue up, it never landed. It never got validated because, no, you're happy. You're like, no, I'm not always happy.
Right, I need to talk.
Sometimes I need to talk and I have an issue and it would not be owned.
But that was a form
which
of
is-
gaslighting too.
Yes, it's a form of invalidation because the other person does not want to hear it or experience it or believe it.
And when they don't want
Because in mother-daughter relationships, she would have to then go, oh, I might have blown it a little bit as being your mom.
Right.
Which you want
Instead
your
of-
mom to be able to do that.
Yes, you want
your mom to
everybody-
go, I know.
Grow.
You don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Of course you're
And then
angry
that's how the mom says,
sometimes.
I didn't know that was affecting you that way. I apologize. I love you
Right.
from my heart. Yes.
Yes.
You need that discussion.
Yes.
And when you can't get that from the other person, it's best just to build yourself back up.
It's best to find healthy relationships where you can have reciprocity. There's giving and receiving of love. Somebody isn't devaluing, minimizing you, putting you down, telling you you're crazy, blaming you. These are all red flags for relationships.
All right, stop
You
there.
don't need them.
We don't need them. No red flags. You can go to connect with Leslie at lesliegustafson.com. She's also on social media. You can find
Everywhere.
her on Facebook and Instagram. When we come back, we're going to talk about her life-changing women's coaching program she has. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Kathy J.
Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better. Oh, boo! Boo! It's already time for the end of my show. But I want to say thank you to my partners, Ramos Law, FitMD, the Colorado Lottery, and Oakwood Homes. Thank you to IKEA Centennial for my beautiful set. Leslie Gustafson, thank you as always for being
Oh,
here.
this was fun.
I can't let
This
you
was
go. LeslieGustafson.com is where you guys need to go. Leslie has a women's coaching program, Amazing You. Tell everybody about it.
Well, at this phase of my career, I'm delighted to say that I'm working very comprehensively with women in an online program. It's so exciting because the women are getting huge results and outcomes. It's like the work of my dreams. And women are like totally rising up and becoming all they can be. And
That's
it's
awesome.
fabulous.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, please connect with Leslie. She's always there offering amazing advice. And you can hit her up and find her anytime. I don't know. You live on social media.
I do live on
Say
social
bye,
media.
everybody. Bye. Good luck, everybody, with your gaslighting.